Okay. So based on your questionnaire, what we have done, the information is transferred to Excel sheet, right? So from the Excel sheet, we will prepare tables depending upon our objectives. So first question was, objective was, what was our first objective? Our first objective was to find out demographic or socio-economic background of the respondents. So out of 100 or 200 interviews, so we will find out their age, their religion, their social status. Okay. So media, they are able to get in. Next will be, as I said, the time spent on each medium. So we will ask a question, how many hours do you watch television per day? So 1 to 2 hours, less than 1 hour, 2 to 3 hours, 4 to 5 hours. So how many how many hours you spend on watching this, using this smartphone? So we will get 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, like that. So which social media do you use more? WhatsApp, okay, YouTube, Twitter, how many hours? So in how many WhatsApp group you have membership? Which kind of messages do you forward? Like that. So these are our objectives. Our objectives are how much time they are spending on each medium. What are their preferences of subjects? Similarly, you may have a topic on only reading habits of newspaper reading, maybe Andhra Jyoti or Enadu. So in that question, what do we ask? We ask which page do you read? Sports page. How much time? Front page, politics, business, health. Okay. So where do you read the newspaper? How much time you spend? What percentage of news do you read? Why do you read? Only not why do you read? Because it is only this is the paper available, because it is credible. English papers, why do you read? To improve English, to prepare for competitive exams, okay, or for classified advertisements. So depending upon topic, we will have objectives, and depending for to get answers for those objectives, we prepare questionnaires, and the questions will get answers for our objectives. So what do you do after preparation of this questionnaire? You will identify people whom you want to meet. You distribute it. You get information. You transfer that information to Google Sheet. And from Google Sheet, according to your objectives, you prepare tables. So we get answer why they are reading, how much time they are spending. Okay. So which one? Local news, national news, international news, feature pages. Okay. So this is how you go about, and you write findings. So objective number 1, profile means, so what is the age of respondents? What is their education qualifications? How many have studied up to 10th class, inter, degree, PG? What is their occupation, for example? Okay. So this is how you do your survey related research. Okay. Is it clear or any doubts?
Clear, sir.
Okay. So shall we go to the next one, content analysis?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So what is content analysis? Content analysis is finding out content, that is what is there in messages. That is content analysis. Okay. So that means you may study what type of news are published in a newspaper. Subject wise. No, I have explained earlier. Subject wise. Okay. Politics, business, education, agriculture, sports, science, development, crime. This is subjects. Again, within subject, we may also look at geographical classification. That is local, regional, national, international. Okay. That is a newspaper. So even TV channel also, news. In TV channel, the problem is you have to have a stopwatch. You know, what we do is how many seconds, minutes of time is given. Okay. So I will explain in very detail about newspapers. So we can also, you can relate it to other medium. So what is the first step in your project report? First of all, what do you do? What is the first step?
You should select a sub.
First step. What is the first step? What do you do?
First, you select a name for your project.
First step is your deciding about your topic.
Yeah.
Okay. So same again, your topic must be very specific. That means which newspaper you want to study. That is content analysis. English, Telugu, or which newspaper? Subject. Which subject you want to study. And when you are taking subject, the coverage must be there. For example, if you take 1 or 2 months paper, you find maybe 2 or 3 news items. So there is no point in doing that study, right? So it must have considerable amount of coverage. Coverage means you must be able to find out news or articles relating to that topic. Okay. So, for example, if you take tsunami, if you take tsunami, there are no tsunami news now, right? So, like that, generally what we do is we take some current issues or controversies, something like that, or elections. When there are elections, we also study newspaper coverage of election related news. That means which paper gave more space to which party, or what newspapers are talking about, whether they are writing about individuals, that means politicians, or whether they are writing about people's problems, agenda, okay, manifesto, whether they are talking about manifestos or talking about what they are eating, where they are going, right, you know, their lifestyle, something like that. Okay. So, yes, question, any question? Hello? Somebody raised a hand.
Sir, sir, good morning, sir. By mistake, sir.
Okay, right.
Good morning,
no
sir.
problem.
Okay.
So, are you able to follow this content analysis or survey research? Hello?
Yes, sir. We are following, sir. Yes.
Okay, right. So, content analysis, first you have to finalize topic. Like any other research, same, it must be very specific. It must be doable, you know, in your limited time. And third is the papers or media you must be able to access or get there those papers. For example, if you want to study something about, during COVID period, how newspapers covered, wrote about COVID, something like that. But after 3 years, you may not get those papers, right? So like that same, like survey research also, you have to take sample which is reachable. For example, I want to study about something about Naxalites, but you may not be able to reach them, right? So in content analysis also, you take medium which is available to you, right? So topic is over. The second step is, what is the second step? Second step in research.
Objectives.
Objectives. So 4, 5 objectives. So for example, so what you have to do? You have to do list out 3, 4 objectives, like space given to overall space. This is overall space given to education news. That is, what do we do in total newspaper? What is the percentage of education news? That means what we do, total news minus education news. So total news means all subjects. So what do you mean by total news, education news? Are you able to get it? What do we do?
So the entire collection of data is the total news.
But what is total space means? What does it mean? Total space means, what do? We take a scale. We measure total news. Again, we take a scale and measure education news in all pages. So first is you exclude. That means you measure advertisements and news. So total space you will get. Total space minus advertisement, you will get total news space. Again, within that total news, you will get education news. So what is the percentage of education news in total news, right? Okay. So this is the first objective. What is first objective? Space given to education news, percentage of space given. Or if you want, you can also add another question first. Space given to news compared to advertisement, that is the ratio. Second is education news, overall education news. Again, what we do is, in content analysis, we categorize education news based on our aim. That is, maybe you want to study within education, primary education, secondary education, what space they are giving. Engineering education, medical education. Okay. So third step may be, what is the space given to each specific area, right? Again, within this education also, you can also, if you want, you can also do a category of private versus public. What is the space given to private colleges? So what are the other angles you want to look at? You tell me, because now this academic year is starting, right? So actually, when you take this topic, in your mind, you will have some thinking, why newspapers are writing like this? Why they are not talking about this like this? So what are the interesting questions you can raise in education related news? Because this is beginning of education, new academic year. Okay. So we can have some categories. What are the other categories we can look at now?
It's in content analysis, right, sir?
Yes, content analysis. We are studying about coverage of education news. That means, what is the space given to education news. So if you say only space means only 25% or 10%, that is not enough. We have to go deeper into it, like that. Which area of education, that is primary, high school, junior college, engineering, or something like that. So what are the other angles to this education news?
We can see how many schools were established throughout the taken time. Like and what languages, especially like Telugu medium and English medium, we have a big controversy these days, so we can make analysis on that.
Okay. Okay. Next.
So fee structure, especially.
Fee structure. Okay. Okay. Right.
So how corporate schools or any private
not specifically fee structure. What we call is problems.
Okay.
So whether they are similarly policies, government policies, how much space given, parents' problem, how much space given. Okay, right? So real infrastructure problems, whether they are talking about infrastructure problems, right? What is the basis for this? For example, when you are doing this kind of study, you must have some background, basic knowledge about this. That from that angle, you will look at, for example, if you take school education. Okay. So school education, actually, what is content analysis? As I told you, in content analysis, you will find the space given to a particular subject. You will compare this subject with outside reality or government policy or government claims. Okay. So, for example, government says 100% schools have some facility. Okay. So, what is the any government document act you want to study, you want to look at before doing the study? What we do is we compare this content with some parameters. You know what is parameter? Yardstick, right? So according to one rule, the schools must have this facility, but they don't have it, like that.
Like recently, some fire accident happened, so every school should have the proper fire extinguishing or water.
Okay, fire extinguishers. Okay, escape exit rules. Okay, so whether the newspapers are writing about these issues. Similarly, we have Right to Education Act. Okay, you know what is Right to Education Act? So in Right to Education Act, according to Right to Education Act, certain facilities must be there. Certain committees must be there. Okay. So whether these newspapers are writing from that angle or only just they are writing some nonsense, right? So this is a kind of qualitative. Similarly, there will be some reports, government reports, some non-government organizations also conducting studies on the quality of education, facilities in education, right? So there are also Supreme Court judgments and acts relating to physically disabled students. So in this content analysis, we can also include these objectives. So for example, when you look at news relating to school education, so if you look from the Right to Education Act. It was enacted in 2009. So if you read that act, you will know what type of objectives we can have. Okay. So this is all this information comes from review of literature. So in content analysis, very, very important issue is you have to categorize news into sub-categories, right? So as I said, education means school education, all this, right? So within education also, you can see government policies, problems, right? Okay. All these things. Similarly, if you take agriculture, so there are several issues agriculture. Apart from horticulture, agriculture, something like that. What are the other areas we can do? Farmers' problems. Okay. Availability of seeds, availability of fertilizer, remunerative prices, new innovations, research. Whether these newspapers are also writing about new way of doing agriculture. So similarly, if you take environment, same. You can divide, categorize news into air pollution, sound pollution, okay, agriculture related pollution, industrial pollution, okay. So within this also you can look at from government policies, people's problems, right? Same if you take health also, you can take health, categorize health based on diseases, right? So how do you categorize this? For example, if you take a topic, but you don't know what are the categories, what is the source for these categories? The source for these categories is similarly women issues. For example, newspapers coverage of women-related news. So what are the, how do you categorize women-related news? Hello?
Sir.
Women. No, somebody wants to study space given to women-related news, right? That is coverage. What is the space? Content analysis as women-related news in a particular paper. So what are the categories you want to look at?
So when we have an idea about, like you said, government policies, the same way we should know about the rights about the women and.
Okay, no. What you have to do? At least you have to categorize, classify news. You must be able to look at news from several angles, right? Okay. So what are the different angles you look at? For example, agriculture I told you, education I told you, like that. If you take women, so what will be the various angles from which you want to look at?
So first,
for example, 100 news items.
Yeah.
From these 100 news items, you have to categorize them, group them. How do you group them? How do you categorize them?
So firstly by age, then
age is only for survey.
Okay.
In newspapers, you won't find age. Okay, you only survey research we will have that background.
Okay.
In newspaper content analysis, we have to categorize, classify, group the news. For example, if you take newspapers for 1 month, not even 30 days, not 1 month, 30 days, let us say. From 30 days, you will find maybe 300. Let us assume there are 300, 400, 500 news items. These 500 news items, what you get? You will get only percentage compared to total news. What percentage of news are related to women? That you will get. So what are the other groups you can do, categories? No idea.
No idea, sir.
Anybody? Others? Women? Okay.
Sir, women research categories, no, sir.
Women news, how do you categorize? What type of categories you can do? Women related news in a newspaper.
Women and health.
Okay, health related, right?
Women and stress. Women and work related stress.
Okay, women and
And,
work related all. Okay, right. Next.
And education among the women.
Okay.
Which kind of education they are opting?
Not offering news relative to their education, that's all. Problems of,
yes, sir.
What are the women problems, issues in society today?
Yeah, we are seeing that gender discrimination, stress,
Okay.
sexual abuse.
Okay.
And
violence against, crimes against women.
It's women. Yes.
Domestic violence. Women government
Domestic
policies. Okay. Working women problem. Within working women also, there are, if you have some more what is called
wage differences.
Not age. Okay.
Wage.
Right. What wage is? It is organized women workers problems. Unorganized women workers, labor. That is unorganized labor problems. Okay. So when it comes to women issues, you have to categorize it like this. Okay. So for example, what is the source of these categories? For this, any source of categories or even objectives, you can get source, or you have to have read earlier research. So earlier, somebody must have done content analysis of women. Okay. Right? Women related issues. Maybe in India, maybe in other countries, several times. So if you read that articles, you will know how to categorize news. So based on that, you can do same categories. You can also some other new categories depending upon your objectives or that particular time. Sometimes there will be some burning issues may be there. Okay. Right? So any research, the most of the ideas come from review of literature. That is research done on the related topics earlier. It may be in Telangana, Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh, India, or world, right? So that is the importance. You will also get what they have done, how they have done, how they have defined that particular problem. Okay. So major ideas for any research are actually research is nothing but extension of knowledge. Any research, not only this MA level, any research is already somebody must have done some research. The new researcher is adding something new to the existing knowledge. Okay. So that is why for every research, not only journalism, social science or science or everywhere, what they do is review of literature is very, very important. Okay. So if it is science, if somebody has already discovered something, there is no need to do research about that problem, right? If you take health, so somebody has found a solution to health problem. Again, you need not do the same research, because the problem is solved. So if you take agriculture research, so there is a solution to a problem, crop pests. Already there is a research, there are results,